Alright, now you should be able to hear me. Let me say all that again. Hi, it's me. I'm here-ish. Terry, thank you so much for the follow. If you're lurking, please say hi. Let us know how you're doing. And if I'm saying your name right, thank you so much. Sorry I was AFK. Morning has been a morning so far. Feels like a Monday, but it is Tuesday. We've got, how many was it again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hydrates from Pi. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the final one will do coffee. Thank you, Exiled Faye, for letting me know that my microphone wasn't working. I did forget to check that. I think what happens is I have to use a little hub thing. You can kind of, if I tilt this camera up a bit, you can kind of see that big thing, big honkin' thing poking out of my computer. I have to use like a hub so that I can plug more USB things in than just one to my front ports in order to have 2 cameras. And I think what happens is it gets confused about which microphone it's supposed to use. And so I have to reset the default every time, but sometimes I forget. So sorry. Oh, Pi, thank you so much. Hugs to you back. My phone likes to turn the word today into a link every text message. Interesting. I do think that Twitch will, anytime you accidentally do like a letter, period, a letter with no space in between, I do think it will try to translate that into a link, even if you didn't mean it to be. So that is a thing sometimes. I know. I know I've run astray of that myself sometimes. I do not have the auto mod thing on that just like times out links automatically, because I do want people to be able to share links from time to time. So no worries. I know some streamers have that on and I know why they have it on, but I'm kind of lazy. And I don't want to do like individual permissions every time I want someone to share a link. And I'm small enough that I feel like, does it really matter? So yeah, so I probably sound like I have it really well together today. Great. Totally do. Forgot to pull my iPad out of this mass of cords, so apologies. How is everyone? How are your weekends? What are you up to? If you'd like to let me know. Otherwise, feel free to lurk and chill. We're going to be working on Everyone's Child today. I'm just slightly past the midpoint here of this novel. I'm actually hoping to finish this novel next week. So I have 12 scenes left to write. I'm going to be writing 6 of them this week and 6 of them next week. 3 of those today, not all on stream. I will pause in the middle for lunch at some point. So we're basically on just on the flip side of our midpoint confrontation. There was a big event that happened, threw a wrench in a bunch of people's plans. Some people almost died. Some people probably did die. You don't know. And now, our main characters are going to be dealing with the aftermath of that, and we sort of have the seed being planted for what's going to start happening in the finale, the climax. So we we were sort of moving in one direction. It kind of seemed like the characters had everything, not necessarily everything figured out, but they were on a trajectory. They knew where they expected their journey to take them for the next little while, and then this event happened, this confrontation. It sort of threw everything into a little bit of chaos. And so now our characters are sort of having to modify that trajectory, change track, figure out a new direction, sort of incorporate the changes from what has just happened into the future. And so those are kind of the scenes that we're writing today, that I'm writing today, are sort of the aftermath of this confrontation, the sort of switch over, trying to sort out what the next step is going to be. I, of course, know what it's going to be because I wrote a plan. But my characters are sort of dealing with what has come up from this sort of heel turn in their plans. And there's definitely some things that make me feel good and evil that are happening in these scenes. We're hopefully gonna write a scene and a half. Actually, I forgot to do this before stream, so I'm gonna do it now. I think I'm actually going to bump up. Oh, I forgot to tweet that I went live. Let's do that now. Twitch. Just because I know I've had a few people who watch me on Twitter. A quick tweet there to let people know that this is happening. Stream elements. I'm actually going to do 25-minute sprints today. I've been doing 25-minute sprints off stream. They've been working out for me really well. So I am going to change that writing timer. Settings 25 minutes. Just because at least with this particular project, I mean, I might go back to 20-minute sprints tomorrow for when we're working on our Rivalia Chronicles. But for this particular novel, because I'm trying to write 3 scenes a day instead of 2, for some reason, and I still don't really entirely understand this, I write about 1,000 or 1,100 words when I have 20 minutes. And for some reason, that 5 extra minutes, I'm getting to 1.4, 1.5 consistently. And so I aim for these scenes in this book to be roughly 2,500 words. I've said before, I try not to worry too much about length. So if a scene is not 2,500 words, if it's only, 2,000 words, whatever. But I'm aiming for roughly 2 to 2.5 thousand words for each of these scenes. And what I've found is most of them are hitting closer to 3,000. So if I want to finish them in 2 sprints, which I do because I have to write that extra scene, I have to fit that extra scene in between sessions. If I'm writing roughly 3,000 words for each of them, then I'm doing about half a scene per sprint. Again, I'm still not sure why that 5 minutes seems to give me such an extra boost, because I feel like in general I'm not necessarily writing 400 words every 5 minutes. I mean, I guess I'd have to work out the math on that, but I don't think that 5 minutes, it feels like a big boost for 5 minutes, but if it's what my brain is doing, then it's what my brain is doing. I wasn't gonna write more today, but we'll see if anything happens. I'm in a good bit, but also a hard bit with tons of make shit up technobabble. Oh no! Honestly, I always worry when I have to make shit up to explain, like, how a thing works. I'm like, people are gonna read this and they're gonna think it's so stupid. And I think I only really had that happen one time where somebody read the first book of Eternity's Empire and was like, this isn't how real science works. And I was like, cool, yeah, I didn't really put too much thought into the science that they were doing in that book for reasons that I can't really go into on stream because spoilers. And I mean, it was still good feedback, right? I didn't necessarily follow scientific process when I was setting up the scenes for that book because they didn't feel important at the time. But I always worry, like, when I have my characters explaining bits of lore or bits of technology or whatever, I'm like, does this actually make reasonable sense? Someone's gonna read this and be like, that's not how anything would ever work. You're so dumb. But usually my betas are like, this is really cool, and I like how this is, and I'm like, okay, great. So good luck with that. I would say just make up whatever feels good and sit it on a shelf for a little while and come back to it, or run it past somebody. Run it past somebody and see if they're like, yeah, this is cool, or wait, how about this, or what's this other thing, or whatever. This is what I do. I think it's funny because I had seen interviews with Star Trek actors where they say that when they would originally get their scripts, it would have like all of the character interactions written out, and then the parts that were like techno speak were just originally like techno babble in like brackets, and that would get filled in later or whatever. So yeah. Yeah, ever since I read that, I've been like, okay, so I'm not the only one who feels this way. If they were doing it with Star Trek, a lot of this would be future phase problem. Hey, I mean, honestly, the amount of things that I'm like, just write something down and fix it in edits is a lot. Actually a lot. And what I find is sometimes by the time I get to edits, it's not some of the stuff that I was like, this is something I'm gonna have to really worry about. Sometimes by the time I get to edits, I'm not worried about that thing anymore. I go back and read over that part of the book and I'm like, no, considering what comes later and how this is set up, if I give this a bit of polish, this will actually work just fine. And then sometimes I get to something where I'm like, yeah, okay, this needs to be completely torn apart and redone. But the amount of stuff that I leave for me to worry about in the future and the amount of stuff that actually ends up needing to be worried about in the future, the second number is always less. I mean, I would say on average that most of my first drafts are flaming dumpster piles when I finish them. And they definitely need a lot of attention and care in order to be viewed by other people. But they're almost never as bad of a dumpster fire as I expect them to be. My memory of how bad they are is always inflated versus how bad they actually are. Although every now and then I read a chapter and I'm like, yeah, that chapter needs to die. I had a few of those when I was editing first round of Everyone's Child. I think just because I didn't really have a handle on all of my characters and what they needed to be doing, I've definitely felt like things are falling into place better with the second book here. That I have enough insight into my characters to sort of create right off the bat situations where they're dealing with their problems. And the storyline, the arcs that they are sort of experiencing, the changes, the challenges that they're experiencing feel more developed in the first draft, which is going to help me when I get to edits. I do realize now that often what I do, I can't, I don't know if this is true for any other writers, but often what I do is when I'm trying to fall asleep at night, I think about the scenes that I'm planning to write the next day, to sort of plan them out a little bit. And usually I fall asleep at some point in the middle of that process. Every now and then my characters keep me up all night, telling me stuff. But usually what happens is I get a rough idea of what's going to happen in the scenes, and then I just drift gently off to sleep. I seem to remember that I was trying to think of what was going to happen in my third scene this afternoon, because I have really solid plans for scenes 1 and 2, and only a very sketchy plan for scene 3. And I was like, what's going to fill in the blanks on scene 3? And I instantly fell asleep. So I came up with nothing. My brain gave me no helpful pointers. Going 100% blind into this. But that is afternoon me's problem, not the me of now's problem. The me of now is gonna blow my nose because I'm apparently super sniffly. And then we're gonna get started. Sorry, I hope that's not really loud in the mic. Woof! Drifting off to sleep with this, watching you. No, that would be very creepy. How are you, Woof? What is up? Are you working from home today? Are you on the lunch break? How it be going? I love that Woof's goal is always to come into a stream chat and use the most bizarre emote like combos, and every now and then he does one where he's like, no, that was too disturbing. Just got home? Nice! So was it like a half day at the office, working the rest of the day from home today? Because you're just in time for the chill clicky clackies. Let me check my plan, which you guys can't read. I should check, because I didn't do this last time. I gave a character a name, and then I spent a whole scene not naming her because I forgot her name. And I was too lazy to look it up. Can't complain. Hey, yeah, half day at the office, half day at home. Always preferable than a full day at the office. My goodness, my lips did not want to say that word. Give me them click clacks, you're gonna get them. I feel lucky or lazy. My current work in progress has like 5 characters. The problem is that there is this whole mage council, which is like 6 or 7 people, and I know like 1 or 2 of them. And I knew which character I wanted to have like become more prominent in the scene, but I couldn't think of her name. I named her, and I was just like, eh. Her name is Aternora. I say it with a question mark. Aternora Lacalus. Babros. I love it, Exiled Fae. I love it. Alright, let's do this first 25 minutes before my coffee gets cold. Let's do it. Hopefully you guys don't mind the extra 5 minutes of silence. It'll be 5 extra minutes of clicky clacks. That's the trade-off. I lost my timer. There it is. Maybe. Heck yeah. I was today years old when I discovered theater mode on Twitch. Oh no, Exiled Faye. I wish I'd known. I would have told you. I use it all the time. People have seen me take screenshots of Twitch and they're like, L light mode. And I'm like, but you automatically go into dark mode when you hit the theater buttons. So why would I bother with dark mode? Doing pie. I hope that's good. I hope it's good. Self posture check because I'm slouching. Kept losing the chat. I think I have all my screens where I want them now. Well, I'm glad you figured it out, Exiled Faye. I know I've hit the wrong button a few times and just flailed. I'm like, oh no, what did I hit? Word mean what I think it means. No. Apple, hello, hello. Sorry, I just wanted to get to the end of that thought. That is our first sprint done. 25 minutes and 1,390 words. So basically 1,400. Like I said, I don't know where that boost from that extra 5 minutes comes from, but there we go. Aspen, hey, what's going on? What is up, my friends? How are you? Oh my goodness, sorry, yawn. I woke up this morning and I discovered that I had put my pillow so I have the bed and then I have like a nightstand right beside the bed where like my iPad / alarm is. And I had put my pillow like right on the edge of the bed, basically leaning against my nightstand. And so my head was like a couple inches from just hanging off the edge of the bed. And I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know how I managed to do that. So yeah, I definitely, the way I wrote this scene will need to be fixed a bit because I wrote opening paragraph, huge info dump, and then continuing a conversation. So in my brain spaces as I'm writing that, I'm like, this is gonna need to be fixed. But that's future me's problem. That's for editing. I'm happy with the content. So that's what's important. Mustang Aspen, how did your writing go today? I saw that you were working on a project earlier. I think that was today that you were working on a project. Tappity tap tap, indeed. We're doing 25-minute sprints today instead of 20 minutes because I've been doing that off camera and they've been working really well. For when I have longer writing days. I've talked about this a little bit, but I basically have 2 types of writing days. So what I used to do was I would always write 1 scene in the morning and 1 scene in the afternoon for my big project, which would be Aravelia Chronicles right now. And then for my side project, which is right now Everyone's Child, I would write 2 scenes in the morning and in the afternoon. And when I was working on Eternity's Empire, that worked really well because each scene was around 2,000 words. So I was writing about 4,000 words per writing session to get 2 scenes done, give or take a couple extra hundred. I was writing about 8,000 words a day once a week, and then I would do another 4,000 on another day or another 3,500 on another day to finish it off. And it was working really well. But when I tried to do that with Everyone's Child, I instantly noticed that the scenes have been longer. I'm not sure why. Maybe the setting is a bit more complicated or just kind of the way these things are working out. It just was too much to try and fit 4 scenes of this book into a single day. So I started doing a scene and a half in the morning and a scene and a half in the afternoon, writing 3 scenes throughout the day, twice a week. So I'm getting the same amount of work done, but I'm taking a little extra time to do it in. And it seems to be going pretty well. It's still, many of the scenes are still much longer than I expected them to be. Only by like 1,000 words or so, but still 1,000 extra words. The same thing happened to me yesterday. I've been trying to do once a week 3 scenes on my big project. Because like I said, I'm trying to catch up and get things done a little bit faster this year. So that my schedule is more in line with where I want it to be. And yesterday I had planned to do 1 long scene and 2 short scenes and figured it would work out to around 8,000, 8,500 words. And what ended up happening is each scene was 500 to 1,000 words longer than I expected. And I wrote 10,600 words instead of 8,500 words. And that extra 2,000 words takes more time and energy than anticipated. So it's been an interesting ride, but I'm definitely happy with my progress. Got to show some people the ins and outs of character and timeline creation. Thanks to U.S. Weather Bureau for keeping track of 200 years of freezing data of every lake in the U.S. That is true if you want weather data, star position data, all that kind of stuff. They do have quite a record of that. Average rainfall, all that kind of stuff. Ended up having to do a hockey jersey mock-up to help settle some character details. Well, that's cool. I saw you posted I cannot talk today. I saw you posted a screenshot in the Discord. What number did you end up picking? Because I remember you said that you were looking for a number. I am, while you're telling me that, I assume that you are typing in, out there in Chatland. I am going to just take a quick AFK, quick hop AFK so that I can use the restroom, reheat my coffee, all that stuff. We'll talk about more when I get back, and then we'll do another 25 minutes and see if I can wrap up this scene. The next scene that I'm working on today that we're going to do half of here on stream is where things start to get a little bit sinister, and I'm really looking forward to writing that scene, because it's going to be the first really big challenge, really big sort of turning point for Jalen, our sweet baby boy Jalen, who hasn't really had to do anything big or impactful to the story yet, so I'm really looking forward to throwing him into the deep end. Number 21, nice. Yesterday working on Jake, I almost burst into tears realizing that I had screwed up my lore really badly, so for 1/4 of the book. And I had to rework everything. Honestly, don't be too hard on yourself if you screw up your lore. I flat out contradict myself in my first drafts all the time. And I don't fix it. So I get to the editing stage and there's a big red note on my outline that says, you gotta fix this because you said this here and that there, and one of them has to be right. And sometimes I don't even decide which one is right until it's time to make that decision. So first drafts are for being messy and making mistakes and figuring it all out. So that's totally fine. Do not be too hard on yourself if that happens. I will be right back. And also, reminder, if you need to get up, walk around, stretch, take a break, grab something to eat or drink, and if you need to, take your meds. And I will be right back. Rune Wolf, hello. How's it going? For 3/4 of the story, ghosts can't touch items. Last 1/4, they touch all the things. Listen, I'm gonna tell you a pair of true stories. Both of these apply to books that you can read that I have since gone on to publish. Thank you, Exiled Fae. First story applies to Crossroads of Frozen Eternity, the third book in my Mystical Island trilogy. Boy, gee, my brain is all on fire with writing today, but it is not on board with talking. I wrote the first half of that book. When I first did my first draft, I wrote the first half of that book with a very intelligent antagonist. The villain was very crafty, very clever. And I wrote the second half of the book as if the antagonist was just like a dumb, mindless creature that didn't really put a lot of thought into what it was doing. And I didn't really notice the tone shift. I didn't really realize that I had done it until I sort of, because I go through and I update my outline after each draft, right? And so I went back and I updated my outline and I was like, second half of the book antagonist doesn't really act like the first half of the book antagonist. They don't really feel like the same person. And so I really worried that I would have to scrap a significant portion of the second half of the book. But I didn't. Halo Banshee, hello. Thank you for the hydrate. How's it going? And a perfectly timed stretch, because we just got back from being up and walking around. Ooh, that feels good. Ooh, sorry for the yawns. Halo Banshee, how you doing? How's it going? Thank you for taking care of the streamer. So yeah, I really worried that I would have to rewrite a significant portion of that book. I, at first, thought I would have to scrap the whole second half and just rewrite it, which I was very sad about because there were parts of that book that I was very happy with. But what I found was that I actually didn't have to change as much as I thought I did. It was really interesting to look back over the framework of what I had created and try to find ways to keep things the same, but also make it clear that some of what was happening was the antagonist losing their temper or being fooled into acting a certain way by the other characters. And so I was able to add that intelligence back into the existing framework of what was there and mostly keep the story the same, but make it much more interesting because the second half of the book felt much more dynamic. And I basically just added a couple of scenes, if I remember correctly. There were a few extra scenes that I added that really gave the whole plotline some punch. So it actually ended up working really well that I had done it that way. But I did have a moment where I was like, oh boy, I screwed the pooch there. Going okay, not here long, but at least making sure you're taking care of yourself. Well, I appreciate that, Halo Banshee. I really do, because I am consistently bad at taking care of myself. And I appreciate you stopping by, even if you can't stay long. It's always nice to see you. Second story, same thing. Actually, this one applies to Smooth Jazz. So no spoilers, since the book literally just came out yesterday. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet. I think that's how you spell it. There we go. You can pop over to Amazon and check that out. The paperback linked to the Kindle book super quick. I was very pleased. Because I did not get that submitted until Sunday afternoon, and it just went swimmingly. But no spoilers, but it is established very early on in Smooth Jazz, pretty much I think like the first couple chapters, that Earth has a shield which surrounds it, a orbital protection measure. And that shield is located in such a way that you have to essentially be let through it by the guardians of the shield, the guardsmen who monitor the shield. If you want to go to light speed or come back from light speed, the shield is positioned in such a way that you have to be let through it in order to go or come from Earth. To come or go. But at one point in my first draft, and I didn't even realize this until I read through it to do my edits, I had a character do something that completely eliminated this protective measure. Like, it was basically just, I completely bypassed it at one point. And I found that in the early draft, and I was like, huh, that destroys my entire plot. Like, literally just this. I had done a thing, and I had destroyed my entire plot. And I was like, alright, well, first of all, we're gonna delete that. And second of all, I did laugh my butt off a bit, because I had created this whole story around this idea of you can't get in and out unless you pass the watchtower. And then I had just very casually been like, yeah, you know, fuck that. So you won't find that in the book. You won't find any casual disregard of the shield. There is no sign of that left in the book, but it was very funny because I did a full stop. I was like, I can't do that. They can't do that. So yeah, just, you know, if you do something like that where you forget about something that you established, or if you figure out, like, midway through a book that you need to change a lore in order for a cool thing to happen or whatever, as long as it's not, like, breaking the rest of the story, like, go for it. You can always fix it. You can always make things align. You can always delete that offending event into obscurity so no one has to know that you almost destroyed your own plot, with just a casual paragraph of information. I don't even remember which book it was in. If it was the first, second, or third one, but I basically was reading it and I was like, wait. Did I seriously do this? Was I seriously this dumb when I wrote this scene? And I was. I did do that. And if I had left that in, it would have been a huge plot hole. It would have been just a major, the kind of thing that people would have written, you know, long Reddit posts about, and I would have deserved it. So yeah, it happens. It happens to us all, I think. Don't panic. You can fix it. Nobody would ever have known that I did that if I didn't say anything. But somewhere in an early draft, there's a scene which just utterly destroys the whole premise of Soul of the Sun, the third trilogy, and I didn't catch it when I wrote it. I was just like, yeah. Who knows what I was thinking at the time. But, it's funny. It was funny then, and it's funny now. To me. I laugh at myself when I do that stuff. But I genuinely think it's just part of the writing process, you know? 'Cause the story doesn't come perfectly into your brain the first time. You have to learn it. You have to discover it. And you have to play with it. And so if you do a few things that break the lore along the way, sometimes you might like the broken lore better, and sometimes you just go back and you fix the stuff. One thing that's also interesting that I've kind of picked up, I know I'm rambling now, so I promise I won't do this too much longer. One thing that I've kind of picked up is I recently started watching crime shows, not because I'm like super into them, but just as, you know, when I'm having a really bad back day and I need to hang out on the couch, I need something to fill my brain with that doesn't require a ton of thought, but is at least mildly entertaining. And so I started by watching Castle, which is, the reason I started with that one is because it was a crime show specifically about a writer, which was hilarious because they had him have this, like, billionaire rock star lifestyle, but he was a writer, and I was like, lol. There aren't many billionaire rock star writers out there. But it was really interesting to see how they would put together these mini mysteries every week. And so now I've started watching Criminal Minds, which is specifically about profilers. Like, they put together... It's kind of funny because I think it is a much earlier show than Castle, and I feel like a lot of what they do in Criminal Minds, they just have cops do in other cop shows. Like, in Criminal Minds, they get this whole FBI team who comes in and does this big profile on, you know, the perp, and tells them how to find this person based on how they're thinking. But in other cop shows, the cops just do that. And so one of the things that I find really interesting, there's a point in here, is that, sorry, train of thought jumped the track. A lot of the time they ask, why now? What's different about this situation? Why did this person start killing at this time, or start, you know, robbing at this time? It's almost always a murder mystery, right? There's usually 90% of the time it's, you know, people are murdering because that's what's interesting for a TV show. But sometimes it's kidnapping or burglary or whatever. And so a lot of times they ask that question, why now? What changed? What made this event significant? What changed in this person's life that drove them to do this thing? And the truth is, that's a really good way to approach any story. If you're looking at any event in your book, really, and trying to decide what the significance is of an event, like, say, not to pick on Mustang, but just to use as an example, to say, if I was going to make it so that a ghost could touch an object, why? Why now? Why this object? Why would that be? What would be the significance of this thing happening at this moment in time? And that works really well for figuring out your lore or your events or even your psychology of your character. Why this moment? Why is this a significant moment in my character's life? Why did they decide to do this on this day? Why, you know, how did this particular event affect how they were thinking in the future? Or you can even do it in reverse. Why does my character feel this way or act this way? What significant thing happened in their past to kick that off? And so that's something that I've kind of noticed that they really, really focus on in crime shows. Hey, Peter, how's it going? Because that's what makes the mini mystery compelling, right? They have to do that every week. They have to say, why now? Why this? But it can be a really useful tool for you to use in your stories and your novels as well, especially if you're trying to decide whether to keep or cut something. You can say, well, what's the significance of this? Why this thing? What does this impact have overall. And if you can't answer that question, you can always just change the detail or cut the detail or whatever. So I've found that to be really helpful for me. And I think it's something that I kind of did subconsciously anyway, because it's part of the writing process. But having a name for it, or having you know, a specific go-to, like, okay, well, maybe I should look at the significance of this particular thing or this particular moment or this particular person. And it's really helpful. It's more of a, like, I don't write mysteries, so it's more of a background tool for me. But it's useful. It's helpful. Happy new book day? Oh, thank you, Peter. Very sleepy, but okay. I seem to be sleepy today, too. I keep yawning, but I'm doing okay. Just blabbering at you all in chat. I don't know if anything I just said was helpful to anybody. Because y'all have gotten quiet, so I'm gonna assume that what I should do is, just put on the timer and do more clicky clacking. But, that was something that I had found useful for me. So if you guys find that useful for you, and it's really interesting how helpful it can be even outside of mysteries, right? Just, if you're writing fantasy and you're creating a MacGuffin, like, what's significant about this MacGuffin? Why was it made? Why was it hidden? Why does it need to be found? What is the significance? Why now? Why then? Why now? And it applies to almost everything. So it's just a really useful tool to have in your belt. It's like, sometimes to be a writer, you have to be like a 10-year-old who just asks why about everything. But why? Alright, I'm gonna stop yammering and start clicky clacking. I'm gonna save my work because, you know. Thank you, Peter. I will do your hydrate with coffee because I assume that that is what you are hoping to see, is Miss Ursula. And for the stretch, I'm gonna specifically stretch them thingies. Because we about to do them clicky clackies. I know you like the morning streams best, Peter, because that is when Ursula is with us. Sorry, I hope that didn't peak the mic. Thank you. Thank you for your Scottish blessings. Thank you, Exiled Fae. I always try to lean as far away from the microphone as I can when I feel it coming. I wrote a very rude story in my writing class because of Valentine's. Why, Peter? Not a Valentine's Day fan? Ghost and I don't actually celebrate Valentine's Day. If we want to celebrate our relationship, we just do it whenever. We don't need a commercial holiday telling us what to do. Bruce Campbell Soup, thank you so much for the resub. 15 months. I still can hardly believe you've been there since the beginning. One of my first subscribers. Always appreciate. How are you, my friend? I've grown to a place of not caring about it, but the prompt was she tipped her handbag on the floor, so I wrote about many things that could come out of a lady's handbag. What about a few knives? Yes, I love the idea that you just tip over your purse and a bunch of knives come out. At least some of them are silicone. Just working and having a lovely time. Hope you're having a fantastic writing session and a fantastic time in general. Oh, thank you so much, Bruce Campbell Soup. It's going well today, I think. This scene, I always say this and then I'm proven wrong. This scene might be shorter, or yes, shorter than I anticipated, but we'll see. Flutter, thank you so much for the resub. 15 months. I still can't even believe I've been streaming that long. Happy Hearts and Kisses Day to you as well. I hope you are relaxing, because I assume it is your day off. And I hope we are able to give you some chill vibes in the background. You looking while I spend some time with my boys today? Nice. Oh yes. Are you visiting? I remember you said you were visiting, but I don't remember when. Not until the week of your birthday. I gotcha. Well, I hope it is a fabulous day. Just a virtual video game hangout? Oh, that's super nice. Like, I'm glad that you're able to do stuff like that. And also tell them I said hey and I hope they're doing well. And kick their butts if you're playing versus games. Show them what that old school gamer skill we got from our youth means in today's world. Hey, Moose, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. Forgot today's Valentine's Singles Appreciation Day. Happy SPA Valentine's Day. Well, I like that. Single Appreciation Day. Happy Single Appreciation Day / Valentine's Day to you as well, Rune Wolf. Do you have any plans? It's been a minute. How are things? I've caught some of your hubby streams, but generally just lurk. Things have been pretty busy, I will say. Like, I do feel like I've been not necessarily inordinately busy since the beginning of January, but it does feel like a lot has happened in a compressed time. But it's been good. Like, it's been the good kind of busy. My health has been doing a bit better since the beginning of the year. I had definitely had a bit of a rough health year at the end of the year last year. So that's been nice. And no worries if you just come around to lurk. We appreciate that. I mean, we like saying hey, but I don't always feel social. I don't always say hey when I am lurking. So we totally get it. How have you been doing? Are you doing okay? It does seem like crazy has been a little bit in the air lately. Very busy with work and getting our lives ready for the birth of our first child. Congratulations. Expected early May. I know that definitely makes things a bit crazier than usual. Just trying to keep our heads above water. I feel you. But super congrats. I hope things go well in May. All That Glitters is pros. Hello. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream today? Bri writes, hello. Sky, hello. Thank you. These are what my husband calls hand socks. He refuses to accept any other name for them. I've been super busy, but pretty good for the most part, getting things done. Yeah, I called them hand warmers, and he's like, no, those are hand socks. Neo, hello! How's it going for you? It's going pretty good over here. I need to find something in the first book and paste it, and then this scene will be finished. Hooray. Tried to type Seder and announced together and it wasn't working. There we go. Sorry, I know I wrote a little bit past the end of the sprint timer there, but I was so close to the end, it felt like I should just get it out. Let me go back and catch up on everything since the raid. Since the glitter raid, if you haven't already, please head over and check out All That Glitters is Prose. Her streams are super chill, super awesome. I love to lurk there when I'm getting some writing done. The hand socks, of course. So please check her out. I'm sure you're both going to be amazing parents. I think the same, Moose. I'm so excited for you guys. Your husband has holes in his socks that the toes stick through. My husband will not throw away socks or underwear until they have giant holes in them, so that's not an inaccurate statement. There are times where I pick something out of the laundry and I'm like, look, this should really just go straight in the garbage. My husband is, true story, my husband lets stuff get way more worn out than it should before he actually replaces it. His last pair of house slippers, I found literally the whole sole of the bottom of one of the slippers had completely fallen off. So I have no idea like what he was even walking around on, because the whole sole had fallen off on the stair leading down to his streaming area. And it was still like a month before I could convince him to buy new slippers. So it's not that he like doesn't take care of his stuff, it's that he doesn't, he's just like, whatever. So he's just bad at replacing things. So again, not inaccurate. Can pronounce my name Bree. Oh, I'm sorry, Bree. Short for Brianna. I feel like I remembered that, and and forgot it. I feel like I feel like my brain was trying to remember that and didn't remember it properly. I apologize. I also saw that you're lurking, so please enjoy the lurk. I hope you're taking care. Angel Faye, hello, hello. How's it going? I watched Friends, so I'm in a Joey mood. Interesting, Neo. How you doing? Can't seem to concentrate today. I keep getting interrupted. Oh no, Bree, I'm so sorry. I hope that real life leaves you alone so that you can get some work done. It is the most frustrating thing when you really want to finish something or work on something and the world is just like, hey, I need your attention. What's for lunch, Exiled Faye? I get the same way whenever I breathe in and out. Peter. Going out of town this week and thus far getting some stuff done. Nice! Runewolf, where are you headed? Are you visiting? Is it a road trip? I mean, you don't have to tell me exactly where you're going, obviously, but like, is it a business trip? Is it a visit? I realized I should eat, so maybe this would help. I certainly hope so. Enjoy food. Enjoy food, Bree. I get pumped up to do a thing, but then I think of something else or I see sparkly. That's why I started, honestly, Peter, that's why I started using the timer. When the timer's on, I'm doing the work that I'm doing for the timer, and everything else waits until the end of that time. So checking my messages, checking my emails, doing part of another project or whatever, it all has to wait. Everything has to wait until the end of the timer. Starting the timer is sometimes the difficult thing. Getting myself to be willing to start is sometimes hard. But once the timer is going, I'm usually pretty good at sticking to that thing. I will probably be able to finish some editing. That's awesome. Editing is always the hardest part. There was a Twitch PlayStation update, and from now it is impossible to use the chat on the PlayStation. I have to scan a QR code that creates a web page to chat on mobile. I'm on my job tablet right now. It's so stupid. I'm gonna buy a cheap tablet and delete the Twitch app. I'm so sorry, Neo. That sounds like such a pain in the butt. I don't know why they would have changed things. That seems very odd. But I'm sorry that the usual thing that you would use to interact with us isn't working. But thank you for coming by and trying to talk to us anyway. If you weren't there, would Mr. Pepper be a hoarder? No, because it's not, like, he doesn't buy stuff. It's not like he buys new stuff. He has things, and he just keeps them until they fall apart. His desk chair was falling apart before we bought these as well. Like, it was held together by duct tape for a significant number of months. And it's not that he doesn't get rid of the old stuff. He does eventually get rid of the old stuff. It's just that I have to remind him, like, you might be more comfortable if you have slippers that I don't know have a sole. Like, that actually pad your feet or something. So... And I don't necessarily think that it's, like, emotional attachment to his things either. He's very chill about going with the flow and just dealing with things, to the point where sometimes and I've told him this, so he knows that this is a thing, like, he just... What's wrong with a good pair of socks with holes? Because then you feel the floor through your shoe through the hole. It's not, like, doing anything for you. But, yeah, it's not, he's just so good at going with the flow and just not being bothered by things that sometimes it just gets ridiculous. To the point where I have to be like, okay, you've been using the same CPAP mask for, like, 3 years. You need a new one. It's bothering you. It's making noises at night when you sleep and it's bothering you. You need to buy a new one. Your slippers are falling apart and not protecting your feet, you need new ones. But he's just so, like, he just lets things he's just so good at not being, like, bothered by things. He won't, if it's me, like, the like, reverse isn't necessarily true. If I have something that's falling apart or something that's bugging me, or like when my back was starting to hurt and I needed to get a pillow for my chair and stuff, he's really good about getting on me and being like, you need this thing. Or, you know, you're having a bad day today. On Sunday, I was having a really bad day, and he actually made fancy rice for dinner because he's like, "You're having a bad day. I made extra spicy rice for you." So he's really good at, like, when it's other people being like, "You need a thing," or "Take care of yourself," or "Do this thing." But when it's him, he's just like, "Nah, it'll be fine. It's not immediately affecting me, it'll be fine." And so he needs that little push to be like, no, you also should take care of yourself and have things that are comfortable. He's gotten a little bit better about it as time has gone on, but yeah, he's just really good at not being bothered by things. Started rewatching Frasier. Interesting choice. Ooh, vegan mac and cheese. Exiled Faye. Yums. I am a massive hole, so I relate. Peter. That's a lot of shoes in heaven because of all the soul. Listen, for like 6 months, I might be slightly exaggerating, but for several months, Ghost sneakers. So, in the type of sneakers that he was wearing, there's like in the back, there's like a little bit of padding, and underneath that padding is a plastic thing, and eventually the padding wears away and the plastic juts through and literally just rubs against your ankle. That happened for like 3 months. The plastic, I think it was like 3 or 4 months, the plastic was rubbing against his ankle, and he kept being like, "Oh yeah, the plastic is rubbing, I need new shoes. Oh yeah, the plastic is rubbing, I need new shoes." And finally I was like, I think what happened was his parents came to visit, and his parents like to be on the go all the time and have projects and stuff. And at one point, they were trying to decide what to do for the day, and they were like, "Do you need anything?" And I instantly was like, "Ghost Pepper needs new shoes." Like, before he had a chance to say no, I was like, he needs new shoes. The plastic thing is rubbing. And he was so furious, but he needed new shoes. So I like, sometimes I have to force him to take care of himself. But yeah, I saw the movie Lyle Crocodile, and it's cute. A little over the place in some pacing, but genuinely I think it's a great musical film to see for the family. I'll have to look at it, Rune Wolf. I hadn't heard of it before. I have a rule that I'll get rid of things that I've bought, but if it's something my family bought, I won't get rid of it. But I mean, if it's worn out, if it's not doing its job anymore, it's okay to replace something. Like, I'm bad at that too. I've had the same shoes for several years, but I don't wear my shoes as often as he does. My shoes don't get as worn out as quickly as his does. And I think part of it is like, he just doesn't want to go to the shoe store. He doesn't want to deal with the shoe store. He doesn't want to deal with the clerk at the shoe store. He doesn't want to have to go to those places and get those things. So he's just like, whatever, the plastic's rubbing my foot, I don't care. But like, you can do a form of harm to yourself by not taking care of those things as well. I personally don't care about clothes. I have the same shoes since 2010. Hey, as long as those shoes aren't literally falling apart and not doing what they're supposed to do, that's fine. But if you don't have proper support for your feet, that can affect your whole body. Just so you guys know, like, if something happens to your foot and it can't support you very well, that can affect your leg, that can affect your back, that can affect your entire posture, your entire ability to move around slowly over time, bit by bit. That can deteriorate. So if your shoes are falling apart, get yourself new shoes. Do yourself a favor and get yourself new shoes. I don't care about designer brand names. Like, I have absolutely nothing that is designer brand name. Yeah, that's fine. I have geeky shirts, and that's what I have. I'll happily pick up a new black t-shirt that's like $2.50 from Primark, clothes-wise. I mean, I have computers and whatnot that are branded. Yeah, no, that's fine. I, too, am not married to a brand name. I just want something that's functional. I usually get cheap clothes and keep it until it turns to dust. Ghost is the same. And for the most part, that's fine. But when the time has come, you know, when there's a giant hole in something, replace it. Even if it's worn out, I'll still keep it, especially if it's something my mom or dad got me, especially now neither of them are here, so it feels absurd. No, I understand that. And honestly, I have some shirts that I can't wear anymore either because they're falling apart, but I keep them for sentimental value. That's a bit different than wearing shoes that aren't doing anything for you. I haven't bought clothes at an actual store in years. Even buying shoes online has gotten much better. Honestly, Exiled Fae, same. I hate to admit it, but I do a lot of my shopping on Amazon these days. Because I still can't leave the house reliably and safely. And because Ghost Pepper has Prime Gaming, he has Prime, so if something doesn't get here, they always give me a refund. So right now, even though I hate Amazon as a company, and I don't necessarily like supporting them, it's kind of my best option. Or I do, like, curbside. I almost said cliffside. Curbside. Like, I'll order from a shop in town, curbside delivery, and Ghost Pepper can just drive up and pick it up. But it's more convenient that it comes to my house. I hate to say that. It makes me feel skeevy to realize how much I shop on Amazon anymore, but, like, right now, it's the best way for me to not have to be exposed to a bunch of idiots. I bought shoes online for the second time ever. These new shoes are alright. I like them. Yeah, honestly, if you know, like, the quirks in the sizing of your feet, ordering online is easy. Like, I know that one of my feet is wider than the other. So I always wear a 7.5 wide. That's my shoe size. So if I find something, if I find a shoe or a slipper on online that fits those needs, they're gonna fit me. So in the mid to late thousands, I found Velcro shoes in a store and wore them for like 6.5 years until they were discontinued, and I never found another pair. I feel you. I don't like lace-up shoes. They don't call her Widefoot Megan for no reason. Yeah, now you know why I'm Widefoot Megan. One of my feet is wider than the other. You will not believe me, but my shirt I have has a giant hole in the back. You can see my back through it. Like, are you wearing it to work, Neo, or are you just at home? But also, get a new shirt, bud. It's fine. You can have a new shirt. Shagraz, how are you? What is up? How you doing? We didn't see how many words we did during that last spront. All right, we started there. 1,278. Perfect. So that scene, which I was aiming to have be anywhere between 2,500 and 3,000 words, was 2,668, which is perfect. So I think I need a chapter break now to do the next scene. And I'm going to take a quick bio break and we'll get that started. Neo, if you're at work, you shouldn't have a giant hole in the back of your shirts. Your English is not terrible. You're fine, Neo. Your shirt situation, on the other hand, I know exactly what you mean, Neo. I don't like typing on my tablet either. part of me is like, I shouldn't spill so much tea about Ghost Pepper not replacing things. But also, I feel like we've talked about this on stream before. I feel like he and I have talked about this on Divorce Court before. Because back when we were doing the Divorce Court, like the chairathon thing, and we had like all the rewards and stuff, we talked about the fact that Ghost Pepper's chair was held together by duct tape. And that he wasn't... that he, like, really, really needed to replace it. So, yeah. I've worn Sperry's now for well over a decade because they're the most comfortable shoe there is, and they don't require tying because I'm an adult. Yeah, I don't like tie-up shoes either. I wear slip-ons. Because they're quick, they're easy. No worries, Angel Faye. I know it is quite late where you are. I hope you had a good day. If you want to let us know how your project work went before you head off for the night, please do. Otherwise, sleep well. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Sorry that we went off on such an odd tangent. Alright. I'm going to quickly read over my plan for this scene, although I'm pretty solid on this one. Updated my Medium blog, and I'm using Save the Cat to plot. Nice! Angel Faye, I hope it's going well. Alright, what chapter am I on here? 13, I think. Okay, so I need to look up another name. So that I don't just refer to this guy as the gnome the whole time. Good night, Angel Face. Sleep well. Unfortunately, these characters were already named Peter in an earlier stream. This particular guy is named Brachus. I'm going to take the aforementioned break. I am gonna just hit the washroom quick, refresh my coffee. We'll come back and do another 25-minute sprint. Hopefully I'm looking for around 1,500 words to 1,700 words in this scene complete before I break for lunch, which is hopefully one more sprint and maybe just a couple extra minutes depending on where we stop. Marathnon, hey, how's it going? It's going well. We've written a scene already this morning. We're getting ready to start another one. As usual, don't forget to get up, stretch, grab a drink, food if you need it. Neo, enjoy your lurk. People at work think I'm crazy, so a hole in the shirt is fine. Neo. Neo, buy a new shirt. I am having tuna for lunch, probably, but not yet, because we gotta do more writing. So I will be right back to do that. Have a few minutes with cute grubby. I'm back. This camera, I feel, is just a little bit pointed down. The difference between a guitar and a tuna is you can't tuna fish. Lol. Yeah, so on Sunday, I made myself some egg salad. So what I'll do today is I used part of the egg salad. Today I will make tuna, and I will eat a little bit of the tuna, and then tomorrow I will mix the remaining tuna and egg together and have tuna and egg salad. It was not pity laughter, Peter. Listen, if I don't actually think something is cute and funny, I will not laugh. You may not have seen the way I boo some of the dad jokes that Ghost Pepper does on stream, so believe me, it's never a pity laugh. I thought that was a cute one. Oh, man, all this talk about food is making me hungry. We better do this sprint so that I can go get some food. Sorry, just getting my rings back on. I had my weird random information you guys don't necessarily need to know, but I had my rings resized a while back because my fingers had gotten fatter. And then I got healthier, exercised more, and my fingers are less fat now. I don't know if I can still do it, but at one point I could basically, do that, and my rings will essentially fall off, as you can see. It used to happen where I would just do that like twice and it would fall. But so I'm kind of a little bit careful of where I wear them around the house so that I don't wave my hand and my rings go flying and I can't find them anymore. So if you guys are ever wondering, like, why does she fiddle with her rings so much when she comes back from break? It's because I sometimes just leave my rings on my desk, so that I don't lose them down the sink, for example. So yeah, I've kind of decided to just leave them the larger size for now because, unfortunately, the thyroid thing means that my weight does fluctuate a bit depending on when it's overactive. So I'm just really careful that my rings don't go flying off into infinity. Because that would make me very, very sad. All right, let's do more clicky clackies. Gonna ask for a promotion next week. Neo, good luck. I hope it works out. Thank you, Neo. Sorry about the delay there. I don't always look at the chat when I am tippy-tap, clicky-clack typing. I hate that people around me at work always say you try too much to get promoted or it's too fast. Someone told me that I should learn to know my place. If anyone ever tells you you should learn your place, flip them the bird, because that's the only response to that. And you know what, Neo? You're doing it your way. You are doing what makes the most sense to you, and you know what your skills are worth. It doesn't hurt to ask. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or so I'm told. I know, but just as a general statement to anyone, if anyone is ever like, learn your place, give them the finger. Because they aren't in charge of your place. Hey, leader, how's it going? What is up, my friend? Good to see you again. I'm great because I've turned 21 today. Now officially a full adult in the eyes of this country. Leader, what's your first alcoholic drink gonna be to celebrate? Also, happy birthday. I feel old. Neo, I feel old too. But still a point of celebration. What does WWDYM mean? What do you... What do I what? What do you mean? Ah. Listen, guys, I'm old. I was born in the Jurassic period, and I don't always know what the shortcuts mean. I've exposed myself as a dinosaur. Yeah, Neo, I'm with you. Feel like I'll fix that later. Pie. I feel like you speak a different language than me. You all for real don't know this. Oh. No, I didn't know that until Leader explained it to me. Okay, cool. Yeah, have fun with your new language, guys. I'm just gonna be over here typing whole words. Need to step away from the computer for a bit and do some stuff around the house. Take care, Exiled Faye. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you were either able to get some words in or enjoy the chill hangout, whichever. Or get some nice thinking in, because thinking is part of writing too. And I will be back tomorrow afternoon around 2:30 PST for anyone who is wondering and wants to catch me again. Nice! I'm glad to hear it, Exiled Faye. Oh, Neo is explaining French slang now, which is even more another language to me because it's literally another language. I can't even speak regular French, let alone slang French. My brain shut off trying to read those French words. Dang, Neo. This sounds complicated. All right, that is that first timer done. That is 1,337 words for this scene, and that brings us to... Ooh, 4,000 words, almost exactly, 4,005 words. Neo, cheers. Thanks for the hydrate. I was going to possibly do a half timer, but I think what I'm gonna do is just type a couple extra paragraphs here to fill out. I think I just need about like 200 words before I'm ready to stop. Not even necessarily that much. So I'm just gonna finish off on... I'm basically in a scene transition where the truth about what this scene is about to be revealed. So I'm just gonna sort of finish this thought, ease into that transition a little bit, because I'll be exactly halfway through the scene, or should be exactly halfway through the scene at that point. And then we'll do a raid, and I'll go get some foods. Hey, Graham the Grey. So it varies. I actually have a buffer of books that I have written over the last several years that are ready to go. So I do release books. I do 6 releases every year, so every other month. But all of those are written ahead of time. This year, all of them are written ahead of time. I usually, for my big projects, so like the Celestial Serenade or Arvalia Chronicles, which is what I'm working on now, hasn't started releasing yet. Those usually take about 3 years. So I write 1 year, I edit the next year, and then I polish the year after that, after my betas have looked at it. So usually about 3 years for each trilogy. And for my smaller projects, like Eternity's Empire and Everyone's Child, which I'm working on now, and the first book of that is going to be published later this year, I usually do the writing and editing only about a month or so apart. So they usually take about 6 months for writing and first round edits, and then they go off to my betas and come back for a quick polish a couple months after that. So anywhere from 6 months to a year for those. I tend to be, people are gonna laugh when I say this, I tend to be fairly slow compared to other indie authors. I know there are some indie authors that can pump out a new book in 3 months. I'm not them. Writing a trilogy usually takes me about 6 months. Writing the single installments of my smaller series usually takes 5 to 6 weeks. And then edits take another 5 to 6 weeks. And then for my bigger projects, again, it's usually about 6 months of work on writing, and then 6 months of work on the editing again. So hopefully that answers your question. Graham, thank you for your interest. A couple of years ago, Oh gosh, when was it? I think it was back in 2018, 2019. I was having a lot of problems just getting stuff done on time to get it out. I felt like I was constantly saying I was going to publish books and then not publishing them because I never had time. So I created a buffer. I just sort of stopped publishing for a little while, and I created a buffer of works that are finished so that I can release each year without really having to worry about getting this stuff done. And then I sort of build up in the background a bunch of books to go out in the future. So the Celestial Serenade has been written for a couple of years. I actually, by the time I started publishing the first book, the ninth book had been written, if not fully edited. And I'm hoping next year when I start publishing the Aravalia Chronicles that I'll be writing the final trilogy in that series as well. So the buffer helps me make sure that I'm getting stuff out when I say I'm going to, but also it means that I can reassure my readers, hey, if you check out this book, you're not going to have to worry about not getting an ending because the ending exists somewhere in some form. So also welcome in, Graham. How are you? We are just finishing up a little bit. Won't finish this whole scene, but finishing up a little bit of this thought here before I break for lunch. Caedmon, no, I'm sorry, but welcome in. It's good to see you, even if it's only for a few minutes. I will be streaming in the afternoon tomorrow, my time, Caedmon, if that is a better fit for your timeline. I'll be sticking around a bit more in the afternoon. I come home from work at this time, 10 in the evening. Oh gosh, it's late to get home from work. Hard to write when I've been so much into FIF 23. Is that a game? I will be starting tomorrow's stream at 2:30 PST. Graham the Great, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate. FIFA. Ah, I see. I don't play the sports games. Again, I feel old. I really don't know about anything sport related. Sorry. But I will be starting at 2:30 PST tomorrow, so about an hour from now. So I'll be around a bit more in the afternoon. Perfect. That puts me at 1,575 words for this scene so far. Although I'm going to delete one, so it'll be 1,174. 574. I believe I started there post-break, so that was just about 400 more words from where we were before. And then the total for the stream is 4,242. So I added about 240 words there at the end. Perfect. Puts me in a good place to rate the second half of this scene. I'm feeling very good and evil about this one. I do think the first scene I wrote today is going to need a little bit of expansion. I'm going to have to go back to the conversation that was taking place in there and flesh it out a bit more. I wrote it according to what I had in my notes, but I actually think that I just didn't quite have detailed enough notes for it. I think it's going to need a little extra meat to it in order to feel like it's not just rehashing previous details. But it's a really good solid foundation for the events that are taking place, and I don't think it will need a ton of extra added to it. And this scene is shaping up really well. I'm really happy with how it's going. I'm looking forward to writing the second half of it, because this character is getting long needed development. So that's going to be it for me today. I am going to pop over on Twitch and see who is live, who we can drop in on today. Oops. Oops, can we raid? People are sending me weird emails today. Sorry. Let's see who is around. Who is writing? Oh, Delta Flareon is also doing some art today. Maybe we'll drop in over there. gosh, so many people. Voivode Kohutek is doing Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, I'm waiting for ads to do their thing. I think what we might do, usually I like to raid into other writers as much as possible, but Delta is a good friend of the stream that I've not been able to raid because I don't think we overlap very often, and she's doing art at the moment, so we also have done, I don't know how arty my label making streams are, but we've done some art streams, cover making, and the like, and I like to drop in on the artists of the community because we got to give them our support. I know Delta Flareon has, I believe, done some emotes for other members of the Twitch community that Ghost and I hang out with. Mumbles was the person who did mine, but Delta's art is also beautiful and gorgeous. And I believe she does commissions, citation needed. I mean, obviously, if you're interested, ask her. But let's drop in on her. She has rated us before, and we have not gotten to return the favor. Always a nice chill vibe with Delta. Or Flareon. I guess most people shorten it to Flareon. Did that actually initiate the raid? Oh, hang on. You already have a raid. It's not showing me the raid countdown? Cool! We're doing this blind, I guess. If you have my emotes, please feel free to use them to show some love to Delta Flareon. Or use any emotes that make you happy. Obviously, it's more about spreading the love. I literally cannot see the thing. This is so bizarre. Can I cancel the raid? Nope. So it's gonna happen at some point, I guess. I'll be back at 2:30 PST tomorrow for more clicky clacks. We'll be working on Aravalia. It's gonna be an action scene because it's action scenes all the way down. I'm gonna talk quick because I don't know when the raid is gonna happen. I love you all. You're all amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope to see you again soon. That's it, I guess? Hopefully the raid pops properly. I'll see you all again soon. D&D tonight over on Ghost Pepper's channel. Fingers and toes crossed that no one is sick tonight. And I'm gonna go get some food.